right. Well, let's get started. So tonight we want to talk about how to build marriage momentum. And I came up with this idea because I'm actually listening to a series from John Maxwell on building momentum and what positive momentum is and negative momentum. And as I was listening to it, I was just like, how does this apply in marriage? And so then some ideas started to come. So
You're so full of great ideas.
I'm full of it. So what we want to do.
Hi, Ira.
Hey, Ira.
Man, you have been so great. You join us every week. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Who else just joined us?
Denise.
I can't read it from here. That is so terrible.
It stinks to...
Yeah, hi, Denise. Welcome. Even though I can't read your name very good.
So we're going to talk about marriage momentum and what it takes to get momentum and what it takes to not lose momentum, and really even what momentum is. So
yeah, it's important. I mean,
Exactly.
you just can't be still all the time. You've got to have some energy and some movement, or gosh, marriage lasts a long time. So
absolutely.
you got to have some momentum.
Yeah. And in marriage, just like anything else, it's important because when we have momentum, the opportunities that come to us seem larger and better. And when we don't have momentum, they really make our problems seem larger, And so that's a...
Do you think it's because you don't have anything to focus on? That's positive. Like if you're just kind of sitting still and stagnant, then the difficulties just seem to weigh down more. If you're moving towards something, it's kind of like if you're on something moving, you see some problems passing by, but they go faster because you're actually moving forward. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Because anytime you're in motion, everything just becomes easier. I mean, if I'm already in a walk, it's easy to go to a jog. But at 53, it's not easy to go from sitting in this chair to a jog or sprint. When you were 17, you just, boom, you could explode and be ready. But
not even when I was 17. I don't sing and I don't run.
Hey, Kendra, glad you joined us. So it's really important, that we get momentum, we keep momentum. And I heard a story that John Maxwell actually has told, and I thought, man, it really fit right here. And it's about, if you have a freight train and it's not moving, you can literally put a 1-inch board in front of one of the wheels and the train can't go. But if the train is moving, even at a slow pace, it can literally explode through a block wall,
Wow.
So it's just by getting the momentum moving, all of a sudden you become way more productive.
What a great picture too, how you just said that. I mean, if you're not doing anything, if you're sitting and you're just waiting for something to happen, the smallest thing can keep you there.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you're already moving, it takes a lot to stop you.
Yeah.
Which can also be, if it's bad momentum, I guess. If you're already down a really bad track, then you have to give yourself patience and understand that you're not going to stop that train on a dime or on a block, right?
Exactly. And that's that's where a lot of people are. They're trying to get the brakes stopped just so they can turn around. Remember the story Jerry Spelling talked about being in a canoe and trying to get his canoe turned around. We'll tell that story another time.
That's so funny. Yeah, it took too long. That's a great story.
And I got to stand up and I got to do all kinds of gyrations and stuff. So
oh, come on.
Yeah, we don't want to do that tonight because I'm not wearing pants.
He is, I promise.
But momentum doesn't just happen. You got to be intentional with it, Yeah. And I remember, when we were first married, and now most people when they're first married, they tend to just ride that momentum for a year or two. It's like
I think it's there for a reason. I mean, I think that's
absolutely.
a good thing. I didn't say it, but I thought it. I think that's a good thing, that you ride that momentum. That's part of that kind of ingrained thing about the newness of a new relationship and marriage. But in that season, it's not going to last forever. And so then you do have to find some ways to turn that into actual momentum that becomes something that you're intentional about, because it doesn't just happen. Momentum doesn't just happen. We do have to create it, which means if we're going to create something, we have to be intentional about it. Exactly. And we have to set an expectation or we're going to end up frustrated. So, I don't think, nothing can get in the way of your dreams, even when your dreams are outlandish. I think dreaming what you think is one of those things that can help build some momentum. Just because there's times, even like right now in COVID, or when you have a hard situation in your marriage that you're having to go through, you feel like, well, I can't do anything right now. I'm stuck. I have no money. I can't get out of the house. I can't do anything. Well, that's a perfect opportunity to begin to dream together about what if, what do we want? Right. What does this look like? What is out there for us? Because a season never lasts forerever.
Exactly. And it's so easy to get caught up in just coming home and sitting down. So, well, I can't do nothing anyway, or going out to eat is no longer necessarily
it's not exciting or
fun because you're doing it every night, maybe just so you can get out of the house. So no, it's very important that we just continue to, once we get a little bit of momentum, or once we are in a situation where we have none, find ways to generate it at that point, and be intentional to create that momentum. Momentum is drained by shooting at nothing or attempting everything.
Oh, both sides of that coin. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, so I love that. It's it's amazing how much it's just, we get so distracted, and we're putting so much energy into so many different areas, and there's no way you can do 100% at anything.
So we're expending lots of energy, but we don't have momentum.
Right.
Having lots of things going on and being busy isn't the same as having momentum, because momentum is developed by creating a clear and focused vision on something, right? You're focused on something. It's not just everything, and you've got to pick something, and you've got to agree on it. You've got to develop a vision for that and focus on it. And that's where the momentum comes, because you're converting your energy together into more of a targeted area.
Yes. Momentum is developed by pointing to better days. It's drained by looking backwards at what might have been. And
that's true.
If we're not careful in our marriages, that's what we get to do. And we get to focusing on the bad days. We get to focusing on what you said yesterday, or
what you used to do.
And it's over. I mean, yesterday ended last night. So today's a new day. And, like I said a while ago, we're 53 and we're dreaming more today than we've ever dreamed in our lives. Yeah. And it's because, one thing, things slow down a little bit when your kids are grown, they're moved out.
And COVID makes you stay at home.
But a lot of it is just because we've learned the importance of it.
Absolutely.
And so we become very intentional with it. And so I think that's been very beneficial. What else did I want to say? Oh, there's a quote here by Jack Hayford that I thought was really good.
Yes.
The past is a dead issue, and we can't gain any momentum moving toward tomorrow if we're dragging the past behind us. I mean, just think about that for a minute. It's so vital that we just, I use vital too much.
No, it's okay.
But it is. It's so important.
It's vital. It's vital, is life-giving. And I think, go ahead and finish your thought there. I'm sorry.
No, it's just very vital that, the Bible says, remember the former days. So when you were enlightened, but don't remember, it's not talking about remembering the former days when your life sucked.
Yeah.
Okay.
The weights and all that stuff.
And that's where it seems like we're really good at holding on to what stinks, but we're not really good at going back and thinking about what was good.
Yeah.
Like when we were first married, go back and think about how awesome it was. That's one of the things that I think keeps marriage hot, is the fact of just remembering how cool it was when we were first married, and just.
We had no money.
Man. Money is overrated. I really
I know.
is.
No, I mean it gave us it really gave us opportunity to discover ways to have fun and to enjoy that new season of life without it having to be something that costs us money.
You got to find ways to enjoy your time and each other, and that was awesome.
We had good times.
It's about being intentional. Momentum's developed when you pull together.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Absolutely. I think about the picture when we've helped Greg and Julie Gorman in their conferences. They do a really cool visual where they have people get together. It's like a tug of war, and when you've got people pulling in opposite directions, you don't get anywhere, and that's what happens when you're trying to pull towards the future and then you're also pulling into the past. You're going to stay put, and that's a lot of energy, but it's not giving you momentum. And so when we began to recognize that, remember, awareness is the first step towards the next step. You've got to be aware of things, and that's okay. You're aware that you're doing that, and you begin to talk about that and agree, I feel like we're pulling against each other in this, so let's get on the same page. So if we're on the same side of this rope, guess what? We're going to be able to pull. Two are better than one, and we're going to pull a lot more, and we're going to start to pull this train a little bit because we're not pulling against each other, even if it's unintentionally or unconsciously. But if you find yourself sitting there and not with momentum, that is a key thing, guys. That's so key, is to come together and find out what you can pull together on, and focus on that purpose instead of the problems that may be what's causing you to go in different directions. But have those conversations. I mean, you've got to talk. That's what Pillow Talk's all about. It's authentic, intimate, transparent conversations that will help you eliminate some of that frustration by just opening that up and talking about it.
Yep. And so the couple things that you can do to really help you in this area and build some momentum is learn to dream together again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spend some time talking about tomorrow, and make it big. Make it that utopia that, man, if life was perfect, what would it look like for me? I would even say go as far as to say, what kind of house would I live in? What would now at our age, what would our grandkids look like and be like? And seriously, that's been an area that Stephanie's just been amazing with is with our grandkids, because she has a dream of how the relationship with our grandkids needs to look. And so she's very intentional on making sure that happens. So that builds momentum in that area. So hopefully that helps you see that a little bit. And also,
we're talking about that, dreaming together, and that's, you have to understand that as you begin to project that and you begin to expand your horizons, that you should be expecting growth there. And I love what John Maxwell says. He's got a quote that said, if growth is expected, and it is, if you can't get momentum if you don't grow towards something else, then change is essential. So think about that for a minute. So many times when our spouse goes through a season of change, we really get bitter and a little bit distracted by that. And remember that if your spouse is growing, or if you've come together and you're deciding to grow in an area, you're dreaming big in an area, understand that change is essential for that to actually take place in your life. So embrace that. Don't be afraid or intimidated by change. It creates a newness of life. It creates excitement. It creates momentum.
Oh, absolutely.
And so put that up on your wall if you need to. I'm expecting growth, so I have to understand that change is essential.
Right.
And embrace that.
And things are going to change. So it's up to us to choose what we want to change and how we want it to change. Because if not, or if one of you chooses to grow and the other one doesn't choose to get on the bandwagon, all of a sudden you automatically start
pulling apart again.
Yeah,
you're pulling against each other.
Because you're going in opposite directions. So the next thing is...
Can I just interject one thing real quick? And I think I want to just be really, really precise here. That doesn't mean that if your spouse is maybe a few steps ahead of you, that you have to feel like you have to keep up.
Right.
Okay. It's the pillow talk conversation. Okay. It's having that talk with, babe, you're going really fast right now. And I get that, but I support you, but man, I'm just not there yet. Something that simple. It's just supporting each other in those growth seasons, because our growth seasons, quite honestly, have not always looked the same, and have they always been at the same intensity? Most of the time, they're a little bit offset. So recognize that, be aware of that, and don't be condemned or feel less because your spouse is really gaining some momentum and you feel like you're being left behind. You're not. If you have that conversation and understand that the change is essential, support the change you see then in your spouse, because it's going to end up helping you grow. And so I just wanted to make sure that we didn't leave that on that note.
And once you start to dream together, and once you start to grow towards something, then you have to start working towards those goals that you dreamed about, and that you are starting to grow too. A goal isn't about the goal. The goal is about who you become that can reach that goal.
Yeah.
right? And
Way more important.
and after you become that person, that goal doesn't seem like that big a deal anymore because you can get that goal at any time. So,
because it's growing towards that, so you're going to have change in your life, which is good. It's going to make you a better person. You're going to become a better version of yourself.
Because one puts 1,000 flight, two puts 10,000. So, when you're married, your goals shouldn't be just double what you dreamed about. They should be 10 times. Like I said, dream big. Get it out there where you're just like, man, everything's going to have to go perfect for this to happen, and I have to get some breaks.
But it's fun.
Man, I remember, and we're still not there yet, but I remember we used to jump in our great big blue cargo van. What was they actually called? They were called cargos.
They were like those.
They had like the velvet
conversion. They were the conversion vans.
Yeah.
They had like the little sink and everything in them.
And we'd take our video camera. It was so heavy you couldn't carry it for very long, and we'd drive around like down Utica Square, all the way down to 71st Street, and just say, someday I'm going to have a house like that. But when you're living in a mobile home, and nothing against mobile homes at all, but when you're living in a moment when the wind blows, your Christmas tree moves, that was a big dream.
It gave us a lofty thing to think about. And we don't live in a house in Utica Square to this day. That's not the point. It was having something to look forward to and to think about and to see that we both loved. Maybe for you and your spouse, it's a travel destination, or it's an education goal that you both desire, or whatever that is. Okay. It's not, but there's nothing wrong with creating a vision board that you're dreaming about. And you look at that and it brings a smile to your face. And it's not about getting the stuff. It's about allowing your brain to see something beyond where you are today. Right. And there's something about that God created us that way that begins to stimulate something in us. And again, it's not about what you have up there. It's the process of dreaming together and working towards that goal. What do we need to do that, to get that? And it's just, again, it's that process.
I love what Greg and Julie always told us when we were doing our life plan was, you got to learn to remember your future. Yeah. And I mean, if you really think about that, it's just like, wow.
Yeah. Isn't that a great
At first,
saying?
it just sounds like, that's impossible.
How do you remember your future?
But
you got to write it down, and then you remember it together.
Exactly. Yeah. And man, just visit it often, and you'll start to feel that moment. Once you get the train moving, it'll start to move faster and faster, and it'll start knocking things out of your way. Those obstacles will start to just be obliterated as you're going. And, like I said, you may never reach everything that you dreamed of, but you will become a person way beyond what you dreamed of, trying to reach those things, I believe.
Well, and if you don't have a dream of anything, then you're never going to have anything that outside of what you have right now. So
it's better to reach for the stars and not get it than
than never go at all. I don't know. We're not saying that quote right. So if you know that quote, put it on
post
there.
It on there.
Something about, if you aim high, and miss, it's better than not aiming at all.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, so hopefully it helped you a little bit tonight. As we discussed about getting momentum and keeping momentum and how not to lose momentum. If you would, reach down there, push the like button if you liked it, leave a comment, share it. All those things help our algorithms, I think they're called.
It helps us
and stuff.
engage, because our heart is to impact marriages.
I mean, we want to touch marriages. And so we're still running our special to where if you're interested, you get the first marriage coaching session for free. And we would love to sit down with you and get you started on that. Just anything that we can do to be of service. That's our goal, and it's our dream. That's our dream, and that's what we dream about reaching 1 million marriages. I mean, it doesn't matter how long the day is. You come out here and you're like, oh man, I'm too tired to do this. But as soon as you hit that, action button there, you lights, camera, action. You just get all happy to do it, and this is a lot of fun. So seek those things together. Find those things that create that energy in you, and that's a really great way to know if it's something that you're on the right track. If you've had a long day or a long week, and you step into something where you serve somebody together, or you do something beyond yourself, and it creates some excitement and energy, that is part of the process of finding your purpose together as a married couple, is because that is where you're engaged on the right track. Absolutely. Because you're finding energy when you're physically drained. And I think y'all deserve a big slap on the back and thank you. We reached 1,700 views
Yeah,
last week.
yeah. Thank you so much
mean-
for sharing and for encouraging your friends
Yeah, it was really
and family
cool.
to join.
So we appreciate it. We will be back next week. Don't know the topic yet. We'll bring it as something jumps out at us this week. So thanks again, and we'll see you next Monday, 7 o'clock.
Have a great week.